What's going on, YouTube family? K Souls here, back with another video, and you already know when it's charge time, it's content time. Today we're going to talk about something that I saw on Shadesborough. I've been seeing a lot of things, you probably heard me say this before about something else, but yeah, this one I thought it deserved a conversation, and I wanted to have a deep dive into the subject and maybe encourage us to look at it from a different perspective, or have more of an understanding of what's going on and the situation that as black men we face. So the concept is black men are struggling. There's a post I saw in Shadesborough, and I'm just going to read out to you a tweet that I believe was by someone called Coach Debs, Man Like Debs, and this person said, "Dating game is a mess. Black men have a much higher unemployment rate than black women in the UK. As a career coach, I can tell you this is what I see too. Black men are struggling. There are so many events and communities for women, from finance groups to career groups, black women in tech, black women in finance, sisterhood, but black men just turn up to football, parties and group chats. Maybe it's because men and women are different. There are not many, if any, groups uniquely for black men to grow in business, career or finances. They are getting left behind as a result. Ultimately, black men need to do better, but can also do with female allies. Women have a lot of skills, experience and value to offer to men on a business, career and even financial level, trust me. Black men also don't share their problems enough to uplift one another. They tend to suffer in silence. I could go on with this topic, but for now, I'm just going to put it out there." All right, so I agree with some of what this person has said, but not all of it, right? Yes, the dating game is a mess, right? Black men do have a higher unemployment rate than black women. I do believe that as well. And sometimes I wonder why that is. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I look at it and I'm real with myself, and I feel like, what is it? Where did we go wrong? And there's there's so many reasons I can pull out the bag as to why this is the case, and it's not me making any excuses, but at least if you're gonna watch this video, really think about what I'm saying and see how it links, and don't just think I'm making excuses, because I've said on many of these episodes, I've said that, oh yeah, we need to do better as men, we need to, but first of all, if we take it to our adolescence, right, I can admit that as black boys, when we was in school, we messed about a lot, right? And black women tend to focus more on their work or in school, black women were more focused than we was. And maybe now we're just facing the repercussions. But at the same time, there's other things as well involved in that. So number one, I'll be honest, yeah, I've got a son that's in secondary school now, and my son's not a bad boy. Like, he's just very mischievous, likes to have fun, likes to mess around a lot. Kind of reminds me of myself, but I didn't have a father. He now has me, and I'm always trying to tell him how important education is. And if I get a report from a teacher, I'm now like onto him. Do you know what I mean? But my thing is right now, and like after deep thought and speaking to other people that can see the patterns that go on with black boys, right, and school, I'll show you something as well in a minute that relates to it. But first of all, right, think about the system that we send our kids to, right? Our education, school system, right? Think about that now. Think about how you put hundreds, thousands of kids in a school, and the way to pass that school, or the way to get through school with good grades and say that you're an eligible candidate for the workforce, is to listen to a bunch of things you're being taught, recite that on paper or computer, whatever it is, and then they grade you on that. And the thing, we all accept it as parents and say, yes, we take that for golden, and we're so on our kids to focus on that system so that they can get a career the way they've told us they can get a career, right? But actually, if you put thousands of kids in that same program, because we're all made differently, and one thing that I would say that stands out about black boys is like, a lot of us are naturally strong, a lot of us are naturally athletic, a lot of us have high testosterone, a lot of us, you know, there are things, yeah, about boys in itself that will be different from girls, and there'll be things about black boys that will be different from other boys and girls. And I think we're very active. Like when I just think about it. Listen, and this ain't bullshit, because a lot of us end up going on to be athletes and footballers, basketballers, American footballers, if you want to bring in the States. Like, a lot of black people are good. Like, a lot of coaches like to take on black boys because of these reasons that I'm saying, right? And you know, we have skills in different departments. But one thing that I will say about boys is boys learn different from girls. But we're all forced to be in the same system and get judged the same. Ask yourself, why is there a pattern? Do you really think black people or black boys are just dumb? Because that's not true. There are a lot of intelligent black boys. It just doesn't look the same as it looks for everyone else. And when we understand that, then we will understand what's truly going on right now. Do you know what I mean? Let me get into something quickly that I saw also on Instagram. And we need to take in this when we're judging our black boys, especially. All right, so look at this. This is I got this on the page of the Lawyer Mum, and let's read through what they say about boys and how they learn and everything, and we'll go over it and we'll come back, yeah? So it says, boys' brains are wired to learn through movement. Physical activity isn't just extra energy, it's a biological need that helps them focus and regulate emotions. Again, that's how a lot of boys end up being athletes and playing football. That's why boys love. Remember, this guy said the only time man them meet up is for football. Well, this is how our brains are wired as boys. We like to play sports. You know, we like to be active when we're meeting up. We're not just going to sit around, right? This next slide says, sitting still for long periods can overwhelm boys' impulse control. That's why boys mess around a lot. That's why boys they fight, you know, because we struggle, or I'm a man now, but you know, boys struggle to sit around for longer periods. Short movement breaks reset their nervous system, preventing meltdowns. So maybe the school needs some of that to see improvements in boys, especially black boys. Girls get a dopamine boost from quiet tasks like reading or arts and crafts. Boys gravitate towards active, competitive and object-based play. That's why you see even grown men still competitive now. That's why there's so much arguments about who's stronger, football, who's faster. If you even look on podcasts, male podcasts, they're always competing about something amongst their friend groups. Boys always compete. We always want to be active. We always want to compete. That's just our nature. So like the object-based play that guys take interest in, boys, building, throwing, rough housing. So I guess that's rough play, yeah. And it's true, because even my younger son right now, he likes playing rough. Even like he actually just likes playing rough. Hold on. And also other physical activities like running, jumping, fidgeting increases dopamine, helping them concentrate better, retain information, regulate impulses. Okay, so this is what I mean. If you want to get a boy to focus, And if you get him in sports, think about sports like boxing. Boxing, you got to focus. Otherwise, you're getting knocked out. You got to focus, so boys can actually focus. Then you look at football, you got to learn the craft. You got to learn how to move around the pitch, how to work team building, how to work with a team. There's so many transferable skills in physical activities that boys take interest to. So that shows you where the strengths are. Do you know what I mean? Then you got, will they grow out of it? No, they grow into it. The wiggly toddler becomes the engineer who thinks in 3D, surgeon with steady hands, inventor who prototypes ideas. So this is my issue now, right? Look at that. Because maybe, let's say a black boy may not learn the way they want you to learn in school, sitting down, writing, hearing something and reciting, it doesn't mean they're not capable of some of the high earning careers out there. But you see, there's a route you have to go through. But that route doesn't mean you're qualified or unqualified. Most people can learn on the job. Yeah, yes, there are technical jobs that you have to learn from an early age and you have to spend time doing it. But unfortunately, there's only one way of learning that society accepts. And that's the education and their curriculum, the way they do it. But I think that puts a lot of people into the corner, and you're seen as an outcast, you're seen as someone that's not acceptable in society. But I don't believe, sorry, I thought someone was bibbing at me. I don't believe that because you can't learn a certain way, that don't mean you can't do a job or you can't work in a certain field. Do you know what I'm saying? But these are things that maybe people should reconsider, or I don't know, governors, councillors, whoever's in charge of the educational system. Do you know what I mean? Now, some practical ways to use movement for learning is before seated tasks, 5 minutes of jumping jacks, somersaults, dancing. I mean, they're not going to really do that in school, are they? Active lessons, walk while reciting math facts, act out stories. Okay, do you know what? On that note, think about this as well. Another route black boys end up taking, and we're going to get into why in a minute, but let's focus on the skill that you learn from moving food or trapping. A lot of black boys end up going down that route, and it's a criminal route, it's not right, but don't judge the action, think of what they are doing, the transferable skills and the mind and skills needed to do that. Trapping is just like any other business, yeah? It's as simple as this. You buy product for the low, get a good price, you sell it, yeah? You make back your profit, and you re-up. It's as simple as that. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Do it, repeat. Re-up, repeat, re-up, repeat. Start making good money. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, no one could tell me that person, especially the ones that know how to manage their money well, you can't say that person ain't as skilled or talented as someone that owns Starbucks or someone that owns a big business. It's the same exact skill. It's just one can be morally wrong and the other one could be morally wrong too, because you don't know what people do for their money and you don't know all the little tricks and undercover things that go on in big businesses too. There's such thing as white collar crime. That's all I'm saying. But what I will say is they're both doing the same concepts. One just could be doing it at a bigger level, and sometimes there are even black boys that move food at a big level. Do you get what I'm saying? But what my point is the same skill, which shows you that that person who you're judging, thinking that he don't deserve to have a proper career, has the same skills as someone that owns the company you work for. How about that? This is what I'm saying. So, but why did the black boy learn that skill? That's what we got to ask ourselves. That black boy learned that skill because in society it seems cool. It's what's pushed to us through media. We're going to go deep into it in a minute anyway, but it's what's pushed to us through media, what a lot of fatherless homes, and you're looking for a person to look up to, or the idol, the coolest looking guy with the coolest car in your ends, if you live in the ends, is the drug dealer. You want to know what he does, you find out what he does, you work out how to do it, or you get put on, and then before you know it, you're trapping. But you're still doing the same skill you would need to do if you was in a legit world. Do you see what I'm saying? And if that black boy is motivated to do that, yeah, and while he's doing that, he learns maths on the job, he learns money management, time management, and maths. So that just shows you that that black boy is able to learn. So when it says active lessons, walk while reciting math facts, trapping is actually on the move while learning maths. The more you re-up, the more you make profit, you learn business, you learn maths, you learn counting numbers, all of this, multiplying, adding up, all of that stuff you'll learn, but it's more of an active lesson. Do you get what I'm saying? Fidget tools, stress balls, standing desks, and rotating chairs. Breaks for 5 minutes in every 20-30 minutes, quick stretch or hallway walk. Schools could actually implement that, you know. Outdoor learning, chalk math or nature, scavenger hunters. That just shows you, right? Like, I agree with this concept and what this woman said, the lawyer mum. I feel that boys with brains are wired differently from girls. So when we're starting to say, oh, black women are outperforming black men or whatever, you know what I think it is? I think there's two things going on there, yeah? There's what I'm talking about now. There's the fact that, yes, a lot of black boys are misunderstood when it comes to education. I don't think they know how to teach black boys. I just think that boys learn differently from girls, and with black boys there's a lot of other things playing part to the performance. And like I said at the beginning, I'm not trying to make any excuse, because yes, I think that we could do better well, I'm a man now, but I'm saying black boys can actually do better. You can try. This is our system. The education system is what it is, so we have to make an effort. But I think as parents, us knowing what I'm talking about and doing a bit more research on how boys are and all of that, we could try and give them that extra support to either excel in the education system or find other routes, but see it from early and act on it. Because what we tend to do, and I think what our parents did, like my generation's parents, they only looked at one way, which is the education system. They didn't look at us properly and see different skills or transferable skills and use that knowledge to place us in different places or give us different perspectives in life to help us succeed, even if the education system don't work, if that makes sense, right? So what I will say though is, you've got the black girls that probably did better than us men in school. So us when we were boys, of course, in school. So obviously we're seeing the fruits of their labor now. Then you've also got the other side to it that people don't really talk about, and that's like, when you look at a lot of black boys, one, there's a lot of fatherless homes, yeah. Two, what media push to us, yeah, is a bad boy image. A lot of us boys, yeah, the people we had to look up to, that was easy for us to look up to. I'm not saying that there are successful black people. This is what I'm saying. Like, when you deep it, there are successful black people and there are successful representations. But a lot of young black boys don't really get to see them. They don't come in front of them. Unless you're from a good home, a good family, you've got a dad that's done well. A lot of black boys don't see it. But when we were switching on the TV, do you know what a lot of us were watching? MTV base. There were a lot of gangster movies. The bad boy was celebrated the most, even in music, even in this thing called hip hop. Look how popular hip hop is. Hip hop is what is, I don't know, it might be the most successful, or one of the most successful genres. It's part of pop culture. And what is the hip hop image? The hip hop image is a bad boy. Yes, there's conscious rap, but there's still the bad boy image wins all the time. Think of the biggest artists. It's kind of shifting now. because the biggest artist is Drake, but even Drake still acts like a bad boy. Even if you want to look at it and say, well, he talks about real stuff, he talks about women, he still, you know, that image is still within him. And all the other rappers, you still gotta look like an outcast. You have to be a bit different and a bit of a rebel nature, you know. And that is what's pushed to us. That's the identity a lot of us black boys identify with. Do you get what I'm saying? So of course, when you're trying to be cool, right, you have to do cool things, and the bad thing looks like the cool thing. Being naughty in school looked like the cool thing. You know what's crazy about that as well? It affects black boys, but you know what it does? It don't just, that media, that message that's being pushed out doesn't just affect us, but it also gives other people, other races, and people that are not from that world a reason to judge. And you know why that's important? Me saying that, you know why that's important? Because wherever you're gonna go in the world, especially the Western world, people also saw those videos on MTV Base. They also watch, white people also watch gangster movies. They've seen all these things, and they look, a lot of white people are interested in the black culture or have seen it and have just judged it. What does that mean now? That means when you go for a job or whatever, or when you even interact with white people, like black people will relate to this, right? Sometimes you just interact with a white person, and maybe it's a normal thing. You're not trying to put the bad boy image out there. You're not trying to do anything like that. You're just you could be in a normal place. You could be in a pub. You could be at a train station. I don't know. And then maybe someone comes up to you and they start reciting rap lyrics, or they start trying to tell you they know so much about black culture, and all they're spewing to you is, all they're talking about is negative stuff in the black culture. But maybe they think that will break the ice because they just automatically think that's what you're into. Or have you ever been in a party or a club, yeah, and someone comes up to you, oh, sorry mate, you got anything? They're looking to pick up some drugs or something. They're like, you got anything, mate? And you're not even a trapper. That's the judgment I'm talking about. I'm not saying it's racist, but it's a judgment. They just think that that's what we're about. They've seen the media, what the media says about us, and they think we're all the same thing, when actually some of us are just into that just like they are. We just want to watch it from afar. We don't want to live that way. Yeah, we might follow the fashion, we might want to dress like a certain way, but at the end of the day, what about the character? And of course, if you're going to go to a job interview, or you're going to go for a job, it's advisable to dress properly, appropriately, and wear the uniform that you need to wear to get the job. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying generally, even if you do that, some people will still approach you. I've had a job where I wore a suit, and certain people or my colleagues would approach me like a black person, like who they think a black person is, talk about stuff that they think black people talk about. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's my point. That judgment alone has probably held back black boys too, or black men, from getting certain jobs. And let me tell you why. Because of that image, some people, think about it like this as well. Some companies, just think of the logic carefully. It's easier to, even though they say black women have attitude and, you know, they also judge black women, don't get me wrong, black women, even though some of them get the jobs, they still suffer in the workplace, no matter what. Do you know what I'm saying? But what my point is that it's easier probably for workers, managers in a company to override in their mind, and they will never admit this, but let me just be honest here, it's probably easier for them to control a black woman, or like maybe they feel more comfortable or confident to manage a black woman than a black guy, especially if you're a tall black guy, especially if you're built, especially if you look strong, especially if you've got raw features. They're probably, in the back of their mind, when you go for that interview, they could feel intimidated. You know how when you're walking on a road, you're an innocent person, but someone might cross the road because of the media they've seen and the judgments they have on black people. Why don't we think that's the same when you walk into an office or when you walk to a job? Why? yes, and this, I'm generalizing, but this happens a lot. So if we're going to look at statistics of why black men are struggling, I'm telling you what plays part to it. And I feel strongly about it because I remember I'm a tall, big, black guy. I've been judged. I know when I've been judged. I'm not stupid. And not only that, like, I could walk into a security firm right now, get the job straight away. That's just automatically because they see me as a big black guy and they probably think I can handle certain situations, right? I'm not saying that they're wrong, but you get what I'm saying? My point is that I think the three things that we have to consider when we're looking at these, when people are talking like this and we're looking at these statistics is, one, I think boys learn differently and the education system doesn't really support all types of people's way of learning. So when it's boys, we're at a disadvantage, to be honest. And when it comes to black boys, I just believe that one, you can look at it as our culture's fault, but I would say look at the bigger picture and look at how media portray us. And I think a lot of black boys are influenced by the wrong thing, really. And then the last one I would say is, even when black guys are qualified, yeah, some will make it, some will get into the offices and all of that, but a lot of them are being judged based on how media has portrayed us and just based on fear, to be honest. So I think those things are to be considered, but where do we go from here? Like, why is there a struggle and what can we do to improve? I think the way we need to improve things is, one, if you are a black person that has made it in life, if you're a black person that has a successful business, maybe it's time to bring the money back home. Maybe it's time to build up our own trade. You know, like, I don't know if you don't know about, I think it was Tulsa back in the day when there was a black Wall Street, but a black people, what's it called in America? Wall Street. I don't know. There was a section in America back in the day that black people started thriving in, and they all worked together. They traded together. They did a lot of things. They made the black pound stronger, and obviously the other races couldn't take it, so they burned down the city. But that's a story for another day. But the main thing is, we don't stop. We keep going. Right now, the world is opening up to more possible. Like, people are doing more now. There are more black businesses. We are getting there. We are improving. But what we need to do is we need to hire our own. And I know, because listen, let me be honest here, we even judge each other. I know black people with businesses that won't hire black people. And I think that's wrong. And we're not going to move forward. The thing is, yeah, what people don't realize is if our culture suffers, our race suffers, it still affects everyone else, because just because you're in a higher class, you will still get judged. Do you know what I'm saying? And then some people believe that you won't, and maybe you won't, I don't know. But all I'm saying is that I think it's pretty selfish if you've worked hard to get somewhere, you know how hard it is, and you don't invest back into your own people, your own race. I think it's a bit mad. So I think more and more people need to be bringing in black people. More black people that are successful need to, don't gatekeep, like, share some secrets. If there's things that we don't know, share with us. Help us to get on the level you're at. That's what I think should happen. And then also I think that we need to all now raise our kids with a different lens. Not the lens of the teachers that don't understand our boys. In the lens of knowing that boys are a bit different, and especially black boys may be different because of what media has done to us. So maybe you could try a different way of learning for your boys. Yeah. Just be present. As I spoke about in my last video about the attack on the family structure. Be more present. Teach them your own ways. A lot of the white boys in my school, yeah, weren't that smart. They weren't performing that well. A lot of the ones I know. But you know what? I saw a pattern with. The pattern I saw with them is that a lot of them had dads and uncles that were in trades, like plumbing, electricity, electricians, there's one more, construction. And a lot of them just followed their uncles or dads to those type of jobs, and like when there was no school, or maybe it was in summer holidays or whatever, and they just learned on the job. What is that thing that I showed you said? Active learning. They were actively learning their father's trades. A lot of them now, maybe they did an apprenticeship after school, they didn't go uni or anything, but a lot of them are now, they're succeeding in their, some of them have got their own businesses in the trades. Some of them are electricians with their businesses, plumbers with their own businesses, and do construction or own construction companies, live a good life, bought a house, all of that. And that's based on the fact that a lot of their parents were working the trades and already found the masculine kind of work that creates undeniable skills that are definitely needed and definitely keep men active. To be honest, those are the most masculine jobs you can think about, because whatever they're describing in what I showed you earlier when it comes to how boys learn, those are the type of jobs that show that prove that point, because it's like they're physical jobs. You learn on the job, you see things, you learn, you're active, you have to move, you're not sat in one place. Do you know what I mean? So these are things to consider. This person also said something that was quite interesting. He said that black men need to do better, but could also do better with... There's another thing that was quite interesting that this guy said is that black men need to do better, but could also do with female allies. Now, I believe I agree with that, and I feel that when I'm talking about family structure, when I'm talking about working, collaborating with people, teamwork and all of that, that's what I mean. I mean, like, first of all, this is why wives are good. This is why no matter who's successful, we need to be hooking up and getting married more. And I'm not trying to focus on that, right? But what I will say is, listen, man and woman are meant to work together. Even whether it's through marriage, whether it's through friendship, whatever it is, we're meant to coexist and work together. If this is the season of women being successful, if you lot want stronger men and you want men that are financially stable and all of that, then don't gatekeep. Like, bring men in, work with each other, and men, don't be afraid to work with females, even if you feel like she's got more bread than you or she's doing better than you. Listen, the thing is, yeah, what this generation has done is we look at now, we focus on the present so much, we don't focus on what could be, right? If someone brings you in, if you're low today, if you have to learn of someone else, even if it's a female, why don't we just focus on what could be in the future, how successful we could be? If, you know what I'm saying, like, if a woman is the missing puzzle to your life, yeah, even in the Bible it says, if you find a wife, you find favor. Eve, when God created Eve, he spoke about a man needs a helper. Why are we all missing that point? And why do we always think that a man has to be able to do everything on his own and then bring in a woman? Why can't from the jump a man work with a woman? And I'm not just talking about dating, I'm talking about even friendship, just helping each other. There's certain things, forget finances, forget work and all of that. Just in life, there are certain ways a man can help a woman, and there are certain ways a woman can help a man. What my point is we need to stop looking at all the things that the media tells us to look at. A person that is there to help you is a person that's there to help you. It don't matter what gender they are, is my point, right? Destiny helpers are sent to you to help you. Even me, I need to unlearn certain things because I'm still quite traditional in my thinking. But what my point is that being friends with females, having females in your life in any capacity and learning from them as a man is not nothing to look down on. Also, if you're a female that feels like you're wondering why you may have to help a man and you don't want to, Some of you lot are missing out on certain blessings that could come your way in terms of a romantic partner or even man them as friends, yeah, because you're too busy judging men at their levels. Some of you lot could actually benefit from having men in your life, even if they're rich or not. But some of you don't even understand that. So what my point is like, no one should be afraid, no one should be gatekeeping, one. That's number one. And two, wow. Sorry, I just got distracted. I think women, if you're succeeding now, don't gatekeep. Let's build our community. And this is not me begging as a black man. I'm just saying, listen, if that's what it is and you believe in black love, you believe in our culture, you believe in, you want to see a change in our race, forget all the formalities, forget all the bullshit that media says. Help a brother out. And then as for men, like, don't be afraid to get help from a sister. Also, it's good to have women as allies. I like speaking to women. I like speaking to women. I have a woman. I've learned a lot from being in my relationship, and I'm not afraid to say it. All it does, it makes me a better man. I think to become the complete wholesome man, you definitely need a female ally, and that could be in form of a marriage or it could be friendship. I'm not saying you have to be married, but we're all here to help each other. That's the point of the earth. We're all in the body of Christ. We're all vessels. Nothing can't happen if we're not all here. We're all part of the puzzle. And that's what we need to learn as a race, instead of tearing each other down or judging each other. That's what they want, to keep us low. Only few of us can make it. The rest of us, crabs in a bucket, instead of all working together. Do you get what I'm saying? And then the last thing he said that I've already covered in the video when I was talking about men should actually talk. He said black men also don't share their problems enough to uplift one another, and they tend to suffer in silence. So I've already said it, so I'm not going to repeat that. But I just feel that, listen, all this information, I feel like I'm talking about a lot of problems on my channel, but maybe I'm just venting. Like I said, YouTube's therapy. But also, if I can make any change in society, that's what I want to do. I want us to do better. I've got black sons, yeah? And I'm even me, just by the research I've done and what I've been speaking about, I think I'm going to take a different outlook on their education and different perspective. And I'm not going to let these teachers tell me that my sons ain't doing well. I'm going to focus on the best way to educate them. And that might not be just by the school system. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, what do you guys think? Again, am I reaching? Am I chatting rubbish? Or do you agree? Or tell me what is the issue? How can we resolve this? Because the truth is, black men are struggling. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here in front. The successful ones are athletes, entertainers, and drug dealers, and then obviously you got some corporate black men. But I think there's more black women succeeded in corporate now than black men. You know what I mean? And if we compare that to other races, we get blown out of the park. So what can we do to improve? What is the reason? Tell me, because these are the reasons I've come across and I've researched, and it seems like it is the way. But am I reaching, or what is it? Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.